Hello, Bible Beaters. Welcome to another episode of the Bible Beater Podcast. This is the Lord of Hosts, Caleb Campbell, joined as always by the interrupter, Kyle Vestner. How's it going anyways, Kyle?
Welcome to Getting Caleb with High. It's the podcast where we don't read the Bible, we smoke it.
First Chronicles 4:20, dude.
We're on fire, dude.
Stop it. Whatever, man. We usually record tomorrow, and I thought I had the rest of the afternoon off. So
Might as well get ahead of the game, you know?
Okay, so I get so everybody's on the same page here. Leave me alone, Kyle. I get this.
Oh God!
Stop it!
Oh Lord!
I get this oil from the store because it's the most like concentrated and like overall it's the most bang for your buck. It's like it's the equivalent of buying like I don't know White Lightning or like fucking OEs. It's like the shitty cheap.
The most THC per dollar.
Yeah, exactly.
Like how Taz buys beers at the liquor store, you buy weed.
Yeah, exactly. So,
Most THC
but
per
the
volume.
problem with this oil is
it called Wildcat?
it might as well be. It might as well be. The problem is it's like it takes so long to kick in. So like if you want to be high in like 2 hours, you got to take it 2 hours ago. So I have to take it like I don't know early in the day.
When you get up at 11.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then so anyways, I took some this earlier this morning and I thought that it would be worn off by now. But it has not.
Here we are.
And I was like, just be cool, man. No one will notice. Just,
like a high school kid.
Just walk in, sit down, do the podcast. No one needs to know anything. You can totally pull this off.
Surprised you didn't spray yourself with Axe body spray before you came in here.
Oh, that would have been a good idea. All right.
Like I went to the gym just now because I'm going again.
Oh, yeah. Tell us all about that.
Because of how skinny I looked.
Yeah.
At the first video podcast, really got to my self-esteem.
Is that why we're not on video today? Are we on video today?
We're on video.
Oh, shoot.
What do you think I'm doing?
What do you think Young T's here for, dude?
I don't know. There's nothing on TV.
We never watch ourselves.
Oh my God! I feel like my nephew Niall, just like I'm getting watched all the time.
So me and Angus. So our gym, I don't know. It's weird. They switched.
Aren't gyms closed? Isn't like the
Ours
final
isn't.
lockdown happening right now?
Ours isn't doing it.
What do you mean
They're
just
defying orders.
and you're defying orders also?
Fuck yeah, dude. Fight the power.
All right, man. Great job.
So I come out of the gym today.
You guys are really doing it.
We're doing God's work.
So you come out of the gym that you're not allowed to be in.
I don't know if we're allowed or
I
not.
don't care.
I don't know. It doesn't matter. But the whole time I'm at the gym, I'm smelling my clothes.
Mm-hmm.
Like something smells weird. And I think it's me, but I just washed my gym clothes.
Normally,
Like,
if something smells weird, it's probably you. Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking. But I'm fucking smelling it. I'm like, well, this smells bad.
So what was it?
So I come out of the gym, we get to the car, I'm like, Angus, does the gym smell like cum to you? And he's like, yeah, I thought it was just me. Our whole gym smells like cum, dude. I thought I smelled like cum.
What did you guys do to this gym right before this?
No,
story
they
was
switched
sold?
like the spray they used to sanitize everything, and it
switched
smells like cum.
to the cum
Straight
spray?
up smells like cum.
Oh God, that's so gross. I would switch gyms. That's not a good smell.
Huh?
That's not a good smell.
Yeah, but there's no other option. Other gyms are
I
closed.
never like smell my like old gross clothes and be like, that smells clean.
Well,
that
the only-
smells like sanitized. That smells like somewhere I would want to go work out.
Well, the only other alternative is a gym that smells like pussy, and that's gross. Dude. I'd rather go to the cum gym.
What's wrong with like Mr. Clean, lemon, like bleach,
I don't know. They have all these
Bleach,
weird sanitizers that
ammonia mix?
alcohol. What happened to alcohol?
Yeah, just
Couple sprays in my mouth. Get the workout going.
just spritz vodka all over everything.
It's just as good.
That would be so bad smelling.
I checked the ingredients on the bottle looking for cum or something. It said 3 ingredients I'd never even heard of in my life. I'm like, turns out if you mix those together, it smells like jizz.
Did the bottle? What did it look like?
It was in a generic bottle.
Yeah, was it like crystal clear? Or
Clear.
was it cloudy,
Was it
milky?
milky?
Like, was there any other signs?
Did
Did it not spray very well? Did it just kind of like coagulate and thunk out the end?
What was that, a Dave Chappelle sketch with like the
I don't
super
know.
soakers, but it was thick?
I don't
Like
know.
jizz?
It's gross though.
Yeah. Was it a disgruntled employee that got fired and was paying everyone back? Is that what you're asking?
Probably not.
No. Just smells like jizz.
You never hear that one. You always hear the guy in the kitchen. Oh, he jerked off in the sauce or whatever. You never hear the guy at the gym jerking off into this fucking
Sanitizer bottles. You know, now that you mentioned it, it was chunky.
I'll show you people. Yeah, you think it's clean?
Yeah, you gotta shake the bottle before you spray.
Now everything has HIV in this gym. Oh god, that's dumb. Okay. So, Kyle, did you do anything interesting in lockdown weekend, in full lockdown
Yeah,
weekend?
I went to my
Do
gym
you care
before
to
it-
incriminate yourself?
Sure, I went to the gym before it was open and came in all the bottles of sanitizer.
How did you do that, Kyle?
It took me about 3 hours.
Did you get in there nice
There's
and
28
early?
bottles.
Gross.
What did I do before lockdown? I don't know. Nothing.
Lockdown
What is
when
there to
it's-
do ever now? I play frisbee golf in the park, and that's it. That's my life. I edit podcasts, and now
Nice.
it's on video. Takes me forever. For literally forever.
That's fun.
And guess what? If I
Do
fuck
you listen to other podcasts while you
I don't
edit
have time.
podcasts?
If I fuck up one of the renders, the rendering it takes like 4 hours on my computer. It's not the greatest. So if I fuck it up and fuck up a graphic or something, I gotta redo the whole thing.
This is like the part of parties where people start like nod and then walk away from you. Go, that's
But they
a boring-
can't. Rip
that
out
is
your earbuds,
That's
I
a
dare
boring
you.
life. I didn't do much either. I've been locked in my house scanning pictures of my early childhood. Do you know my parents were fucking maniacs? I know that we talk about this all the time.
Your dad still does this, by the way.
Are you familiar with the Parkinson Rec Center in Kelowna?
I must be.
Have
I
you-
know the name.
Do you have you ever just noticed? Have you ever looked up and been like, "Huh, that's a high roof," or just noticed? It's probably
Let me guess. Wesley noticed.
it's probably 3 meters from the pool to the roof.
Yeah.
It's a big indoor pool.
Sure.
There was a lifeguard who would push us on a rope swing, and we would swing, and we would go as far as he could push us, and he liked to push us as far as we would go, and it was an arms race to see how high we could go and how far he could push us. And this lifeguard, my dad was fully like on board, and this lifeguard eventually pushed my brother so high, he got pretty close to the roof, and then we were like, "Do you think you could touch the roof?" And my
That's
dad's like,
awesome.
"Let me get the camera." So my dad gets the camera. We got pictures of my brother touching the roof of this fucking indoor swimming pool from a rope swing that the lifeguard pushed him on. And I'm just like,
That is dope, dude.
it's incredible, but like, what kind of a parent allows?
Fuck that. Doing dangerous shit as a kid is the only thing that's fun.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess the internet's turned me into a total pussy.
Yeah, fuck, that's awesome.
Is it awesome?
That's awesome that people used to do that. When I was a kid, I used to take my bike, go down to where the teenagers like made giant jumps in the woods,
Yeah.
and go off them and hurt myself all
Yeah.
the time. It was so much fun.
Yeah, you do that shit when your parents aren't looking. Your parents find out, and they're supposed to go, "Oh my god, you're not supposed to hit jumps that big, you psychopaths."
Nah.
The dad isn't supposed to. My brother came
Disagree.
back within a meter of the side of the pool one time, and that was the end of rope swing pushes. The lifeguard's like whole life flashed before his eyes. It was like, I'm gonna lose my job
Because the kid let go too early, your brother let go too early.
too late. It's
What
just
do you mean too late? He's touching the roof.
so you swing up, and then if you didn't let go, you start swinging back, right?
Oh, okay.
And it's just by the way, it's just the lifeguard's arm power. Like, it's a rope
That's
attached.
fucking impressive.
So he would go like pick us up and jump, push, swing, and we were just little enough kids. Like, that's what I mean. We were
By the
like,
way, he's like 16 probably.
no, he must have been 20. Like, you can see pictures. He's a man. He's like a
okay.
20-something-year-old man, and he's just, I don't know, 6-year-old. I don't know, the perfect weight, like a 30-pound kid, just like scrunched up
hucking him like
a
a-
cannonball, and he's using the rope, right? Like, he climbs
Like a
up.
tether ball.
Yeah, he's climbing the rope and like fucking swinging for it. Just, I don't know. after he's been on the internet and you watch people like just try and like jump up a curb and fall and break their neck, I don't think like I would, if I was a parent now, I wouldn't let my kids do anything dangerous.
I disagree.
ever.
I'd let them do everything. Risk it.
Oh, I would
risk it.
I would
Risk it
let
all.
them. I would not be pushing my kid on the fucking rope swing at the pool. That's for sure. That's one. I would like I don't want to be culpable. All right, you guys go do dangerous shit when I'm not around. That's the kind of parent I would be.
A fucking
I
non-existent
don't want to be
one?
the kid, the one pushing them off the fucking rope swing. At least, you know what I
You
mean?
ever did cliff jumping or anything?
Yeah, tons of times. I've done all that stuff.
Exactly.
But I don't want to be the dad that's... Imagine my dad's got the pictures of Judah splatting on the fucking concrete next to the pool.
Fine. But you played rugby.
Yeah. I mean, of
Tons
course...
of people break their neck every year.
No, that's hardly ever, I would say, people
No,
break it.
rugby, most neck breaks in any sport.
Okay, maybe that's true, but it's not like tons of people are breaking their neck every year.
No, I know. Tons of people aren't breaking their neck on a fucking pool.
You like hear about every kid that breaks their neck because it's such a like terrible thing, and like there's fundraisers around the world, and every rugby club does about it, right? Like everybody, rugby club raises money and donates. Rugby's awesome. Anyways, we're way off topic.
Back to the Bible.
Do you remember what we read about last week, Kyle?
Do you?
No, I have no fucking clue. But I did look it up before I came here
good.
to remind myself that we read all the names again, more
Yeah,
names.
that was boring.
And then we read about Solomon's daily provisions.
Oh,
how
yeah,
much-
all the shit he gets for
the
himself and his
the
people.
taxes. And then they once again told us how wise he was, that he was wiser than Ethan the Ezrahite and He-Man and Calcul and Darda. He's wiser than He-Man.
That's pretty good. I don't know if he was known to be wise.
He-Man, I never watched any of that. Did you? The cartoon?
No, I wasn't born in the 80s.
Me neither.
Actually, I was. 88, though. So are you.
87, baby. The
Yeah.
very, very beginning of that year.
I grew up to Sonic the Hedgehog.
Is that your jam?
Yeah, that's the shit. My grandma
Gotta
came
go
over and wouldn't
fast.
let me watch it because she thought it was the devil's work.
I thought Sonic was superior to Mario as far as like scrollers, 2D scrollers, like coin collectors go.
Agreed. Let's rank them. 1 to 10.
Leave me alone. All right, here we are. 1 Kings,
Yeah.
chapter 5, verse 1.
Look, I think I'm gonna need another drink.
Probably. This is riveting stuff. This is exciting stuff. When Hiram, the king of Tyre, heard or Tyre, I don't know, Tyre or Tyre.
We'll go with your first one. It's for sure Tyre.
When Hiram, king of Tyre, heard that Solomon had been anointed king to succeed his
Well, you
father
read so
David,
dainty when you're high. So delicately.
he sent...
Like you try not to injure the words like you
Envoys.
threw him off a rope swing.
Leave me alone. When Hiram, king of Tyre, heard that Solomon had been anointed king to succeed his father David, he sent envoys to Solomon.
Who wants to cuddle Caleb right now?
Stop it. He sent his envoys to Solomon because he had always been on friendly terms with David. So basically, the next door neighbor finds out that Solomon's king.
Mm-hmm.
So David's dead now. Solomon's king, and he sends messengers and says, "Go see what the new king's about. We were friends with the last guy. Say
Yep.
we want to be friends with you still." Okay.
Didn't the word travel the land that he's a fucking genius, smartest man that ever lived?
Well, I guess this is when they're finding out. They're sending. Maybe the word did travel the land, and
Yeah.
now he's like sending his own people.
Like,
he's like,
prove it.
yeah, go verify.
Here's a riddle.
Solomon sent back this message to Hiram, that's the king of Tyre. You know that because of the wars waged against my father David from all sides, he could not build a temple for the name of the Lord his God until the Lord put his enemies under his feet. Now, that's a pretty pretentious, condescending way.
So he can't build a temple for God unless God kills his enemies.
Sort of that. It's kind of like because he had to kill all those people and God doesn't like killing, even though he does like killing.
Huh?
His hands were dirtied.
Yeah.
So he is like, you're not pure enough to build my temple, right?
All right, fine. Live in the cloud or whatever. Live in the tent.
Also, look at the subtle things that he says here. You know that because of the wars waged against my father David from all sides. As in, David wasn't the conquering warlord at all. He was attacked.
He bears no responsibility for
He was
anything.
attacked by his neighbors, and he just like he had to.
Well, to be fair, he let all of his aggressors go.
Yeah, it's made to seem that way, wasn't it? Even though he did like completely destroy, I think he completely crippled the Philistines.
And on his deathbed, he really wished a lot of death.
Just
or
the three,
orchestrated it.
the three main guys.
Yeah, his bros though.
Yeah, his general,
His bras.
his general, his priest, and the rich man. So back to Solomon here. But now the Lord my God has given me rest on every
Young T,
side.
can you do me a favor? Please.
This is so much work for young T. He has to unwrap himself from like 30 feet of
I know, I'm
cords.
sorry. Thank you. Get me on camera for half a second. Appreciate it.
So I'm just gonna restart this because I've forgotten what I've been reading.
I figured it was a safe time to not have to scroll down.
So
Nothing happened.
this is the message that Solomon sends back to the king of Tyre.
Okay.
You know that because of the wars waged against my father David from all sides, he could not build a temple for the name of the Lord his God until the Lord put his enemies under his feet. But now the Lord my God has given me rest on every side, and there is no adversary or disaster. I intend, therefore, to build a temple for the name of the Lord my God, as the Lord told my father David when he said, your son, whom I will put on the throne in your place, will build a temple for my name. So that's the Bible right there, making a prophecy and fulfilling it in the same sentence.
Mm-hmm.
They're very good at those.
So what are they saying?
He says that David can't build the temple because there was too much killing going on, and God prophesied.
Not David.
Yeah, King David
Couldn't build the temple when he
couldn't
was
build
alive.
the temple because there was just too much
And
war.
now Solomon can't until...
Solomon can now because
Oh.
David is dead, and God said that David's son would build the temple, and it just so happens that Solomon is David's son, and he's fulfilling that prophecy. And people go, "Wow, can you believe that that Solomon fulfilled his father's prophecy like that?" It's like, yeah, you can, because they wrote it in that order.
After. That's sweet. So what was the prophecy? Just that he will have a temple?
So David's son will build the temple. That's
Oh,
the
okay.
prophecy.
I don't remember that being said before.
That's the first time. It's,
Oh.
so like they do.
Oh, they're saying it after he's dead.
So they do.
Oh, I get your
They
point.
do shit like that. They're like, as it's been foretold, I will build a temple. And you see,
And like, I've never heard it.
You're like-
Oh, no, it was. It was definitely. It was foretold.
everybody knows it was foretold.
Oh, you didn't hear that? No, people have been talking about it for like 50 years. So you didn't hear that one?
That's like a very Trump. That's a Trump move. Trump always goes, "People are saying." You're like, "What people?" He's like, people. You know.
You know what? I don't like the death of, what's it called? Thank you. Thank you very much. The death of, what's it called when you don't speak in an absolute specificity? Not abstract.
Oh my God,
What's the word for that?
I can't help you. I'm too baked right now, Kyle. You're on your own today.
Oh, shit. All right, move on. Move along.
Kiss the sun, oh God. Kiss the sun, oh God. Kiss the sun, oh God.
That takes
Thanks, Wes.
so
Thanks,
long.
Wesley. Appreciate it.
Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
back to the Bible, verse 6. So, so give orders that cedars of Lebanon be cut for me. My men will work with yours, and I will pay you for your men whatever wages you set. You know that we have no one so skilled in felling timber as the Sidonians. So he sends this messenger back saying, basically, I'm building a temple, and we need
He
your
wants
wood.
wood?
Yeah, he's like, give me your
I thought they
hardest
built
wood.
shit out of like gold and
Well, he wants
stone and...
cedars from Lebanon.
The desert has cedar?
Lebanon has cedars, I guess.
If you go one more time, I'm going to lose it.
I'll try not to.
Just kidding, dude. You do you.
Okay, where were we?
They're building cedars. They're harvesting cedars to build a temple for God.
Verse
Wood in the desert seems like a poor choice.
Lebanon might have not have been a desert. This was like the early Jurassic period.
Oh, right. Riding
There's-
dinosaurs and stuff.
There's like Stegosaurus
Yeah, right.
dunking around.
That's a good point.
Littlefoot.
I actually saw the photographic evidence of Jesus riding one back
Is
in the
it
day.
far behind? Verse 7. When Hiram heard Solomon's message, he was greatly pleased and said, "Please be to the Lord today." Oh, sorry. Praise. Praise be to the Lord.
Please be.
Praise be to the Lord today, for he has given David a wise son to rule over this great nation. So Hiram sent word to Solomon, "I have received the message you sent me, and will do all you want, providing the cedar and pine logs."
Juniper, according to this. It's
Oh.
weird how it's different. Is
Really?
pine juniper the same thing?
Um,
Is pine a broad term for those type of trees? What do we know? Is there things we know?
I mean, Kyle, you're on your own
Let's
today.
move on. my men will haul them down from Lebanon to the Mediterranean Sea,
Let's move
and I will
on.
float them as rafts by sea to the place you specify.
Yeah, how'd you know? Yeah, that's what it says.
Mm-hmm.
And I will float them as rafts to the place you specify. There I will separate them, and you can take them away. And you are to grant my wish by providing food for my royal household. In this way, Hiram kept Solomon supplied with all the cedar and pine logs he wanted, and Solomon gave Hiram 20,000 cores of wheat as food for his household, in addition to 20,000 baths of pressed oil.
I like how they measured in a bath.
A bath is
It's one tub.
it doesn't say. It says
Well, it's a bathtub. No,
it says 20 cores. What I don't know what a core is though. CORS.
Mm-hmm.
It's useless.
Well, they gave 20,000 cores of wheat.
Man, doesn't this sounds like a fucking episode of Paw Patrol? This sounds like the most boring shit.
I've never watched that. Is it like Blue's Clues in any way?
I don't know. I mean, I just kind of saw it on the background when my nephew was watching it. But like,
Yeah,
it's like
sure, dude.
Solomon needs logs for his temple.
It just popped up. That's what I used to tell my parents when they copy watch.
Why would I get Solomon or fucking
No, it just popped up.
Kyle?
Yeah.
Why the fuck would I ever be in a scenario where I have to be
Why would I
explaining
search boobs and see what Google images showed me? Why would I do that?
Paw Patrol of all things? I could just say I watched it. I wouldn't have to like hide and sneakily say like, "Oh my god,
Watch baby shows?
they caught me watching Paw Patrol."
You get high and watch baby shows.
And anyways,
You should be ashamed of that.
there's a problem and it gets resolved all in 10 minutes, and it makes me feel good that things are right in the world, Kyle. This sounds exactly like one of those episodes, by the way. Solomon is like, "I need logs to build my temple. Send someone to fucking this guy, the king of Tyre. Hey, king of Tyre, I need logs." He's like, "You can have all the logs you want,
Do you have
as
any
long as you
wheat?"
give me lunch." And he's like, "Sure, I'll give you lunch. Here's a bath full of oil." And we're like, "What the fuck is this?" And that's the end of the story. That's the whole story.
Do you remember Teletubbies?
I mean, I remembered that exists. I don't remember like any of the plots, so to
Okay.
speak.
The one thing I specifically remember. So when I was younger, I
Now,
had
that one you would have to like make excuses for watching.
My parents-
because if you watch that, you're gay, right? Isn't that the thing?
yeah,
All the Teletubbies
and I watched
are gay?
it up to. Are they?
You're gay for watching it. That's
Well,
all
I
I
watched
know.
it up to way too long because my parents didn't trust me to stay at the house. You know, parents let their kids stay at the house and walk to school.
Yeah.
I was the oldest kid in the babysitters for 2 years in a row until I was 12. Everyone else was like 5.
Yeah.
8 is like the next oldest kid. I was 12 years old.
Why'd they leave you there, Kyle?
They wouldn't let me fucking stay home for an hour before school.
Because they knew you'd just tear the place
I
apart.
wouldn't. I wasn't even a crazy kid. I don't know. I don't know, but it was probably part of how I turned out today. It's probably a reason. So the thing I noticed,
It was
we
just an hour.
had to watch Teletubbies because it was all children. It was all 5-year-olds, and they go nuts. So for me to have fun,
I can't believe you remember it to this day.
here's why: because I hated it. But I figured out. So at Teletubbies, the beginning opening scene, a different Teletubby is the sun at the end. It's not always the same intro. So I would get all the kids to bet on which Teletubby, what color the sun would be every single morning. And it got so heated that she banned Teletubbies. So I guess it's a win-win.
You're a little
I
shit
got 3
disturber,
goldfish on Tinky Winky.
It was so fun though.
dude. You should get
It's
into
just gambling.
now is the kind of the time worldwide, Kyle, that there's like inciting revolutions.
Mm-hmm.
You ever thought about
Inciting a riot,
just like
starting
going
a,
professional and just like offering your services to whatever government and just going down and inciting riots? Because you'd be good at that.
I probably would be. I'm thinking of starting a civil war just for funsies.
Okay,
Yeah.
it's like a side project, not on this podcast though.
Mm-hmm.
This project is like pure. Like we have one mission, and that's to read the entire Bible.
Yeah.
There's no civil war
And then
agenda
find
on
God
this.
at the end.
I mean,
This is not a civil war podcast.
no, it's not yet.
This is a God versus atheism podcast.
No, it's not a versus.
No, we're picking sides.
See,
On this
my-
podcast, you pick a side.
Not-
you
no.
pick a side or anti-Bible.
This is
Everyone who believes in the Bible is against
Kyle,
or against.
You're missing the entire
Yeah.
point of the Bible. The Bible's about unity, Kyle. It's about bringing people
But
together.
we don't believe in the Bible.
We do believe that we should all read it together
Mm-hmm.
and
How
come to
come?
because once you read it, you'll realize that it's retarded. And if everybody just read it, then we all come to that
And
conclusion.
that's unity.
sooner.
So that we all come to your conclusion. That sounds like
How
propaganda.
could you come
That
to
sounds
any
like
other conclusion, Kyle? Let's continue reading.
I'm slowly converting me to there might be a God, and I'm just waiting for this Jesus fella to chime in. I heard he's got some pretty good ideas.
It's a little while till we get to Jesus. Verse 13. So Solomon. So we got those. No, wait. We're back at verse 11. Solomon gave Hiram 20,000 cords of wheat as food for his household, in addition to 20,000 baths of pressed olive oil. Solomon continued to do this for Hiram year after year. The Lord gave Solomon wisdom, just as he had promised him. There were peaceful relations between Hiram and Solomon, and the two of them made a treaty. King Solomon conscripted laborers from all Israel, 30,000 men. He sent them off.
That's the entirety of Israel.
He sent them off to Lebanon in shifts of 10,000 a month, so they spent 1 month in Lebanon and 2 months at home.
Do you think those guys were like, I hope we're in the fields?
What do you mean? No.
There's a lot of things you could get sent off for as a slave.
In this context, I think your main ones would be like stone cutting, stone moving, tree felling.
They're building shit out of wood.
I was going to say tree fall. Yeah, but they still use stones. I mean, most of the shit that I saw, granted, it was 2,000 years later, was made out of stone, so I don't think much of the wood survived.
That's what George Carlin said.
Yeah, really?
Hmm?
I don't know what you're talking about.
This is fun.
Moving on. So he conscripted 30,000 men. Oh yeah, do you like shift work, by the way?
Shift work?
Yeah, he had
What do you mean?
30,000. He had 10,000 working at all times.
Why would you
Or
do
no,
that
he
to
had
slaves?
He had
Why
20,000
don't you just
working.
make them work 18 hours a day?
So that they spent 1 month in Lebanon, 2 at home. Yeah, so he's
These are
got.
inefficient slaves.
Why is that?
It's like it's like resting your computer for 6 hours a night. It's a fucking computer. I don't give a shit.
No, it's you're gonna
Work
get
till you die, and then I replace the computer.
you're gonna get more out of your slaves if you let them sleep, though.
Yeah, 6 hours. It's pretty good.
6 hours.
It's a good amount of sleep. That's all you need. That's all a slave needs.
They also didn't have light back then, so there was no like round the clock work.
They're cutting stone. I mean, it's.
What do you mean? Are you saying they could do that in the dark?
Well, did you ever see like how they built the pyramids?
I mean, no.
How they theorize how they built the pyramids, how they cut the stone, because they found the trenches of uncut stone, or like 3/4 cut
Okay.
and like half cut stones. And there's two things. For a slave's entire life, it would hammer a rock against another rock.
That's it.
For its entire life, creating a giant channel for like a decade.
That's it.
All it would do every single day, because you're barely moving any material. And the only mined mineral they had was copper. But so after the stone hammering, they figured out, oh, we can make copper saws. But copper's way softer.
Mm-hmm.
So they would have to put sand in it and saw it, which was way better. But before that, they hammered a stone
Just
into another stone
for their entire life.
for their entire life.
I can't imagine. Imagine like you did that for 40 years and then you died.
Yeah, It's not even in existence.
Oh my God.
Could you imagine doing that and not believing in God? Just no hope at the end. Just there's no heaven. There's no anything. That's just your whole existence.
And it would take so long to live through. Like as the guy
You're just doing that.
Dude.
All fuck. You're just whacking a stone against another stone,
for moments of joy.
and then they're wearing down, and then you're getting another stone, and you're doing it. That's all you're doing.
Fuck. That's kind of what we do today.
Could you imagine like us now be like, I'm sad. I want to kill myself. And their whole existence was whacking a stone
The same
against
spot.
a bigger stone.
It's amazing though what they did accomplish. Like the big, like
Yeah, they just threw manpower at it.
I know, but it's incredible what together they did accomplish.
It's funny how people like, it bothers me when you watch those documentaries.
Without that guy banging the stone in the same spot, you know,
There's no pyramids.
They would have had one other guy do that, but you know, that person that banged the rock needed to exist.
Why?
Well, somebody needed to actually fucking cut those rocks out of there. You know
Or
what I
we
mean?
don't have pyramids.
That's what I'm talking about.
Pyramids are cool, but they don't really.
They didn't solve
They
anything.
didn't solve anything.
No,
they didn't progress humanity.
There's still wars.
It's
People
not
still
like
die
they
of
invented new
cancer.
technology. They just put a dude hammering a rock. Actually, maybe they did. They got the copper saw out of it.
Maybe the aliens actually picked them up and got them off this godforsaken rock. And they're
Could you imagine aliens existing, but instead of actually making the pyramids, they just told the
No, that was-
Egyptians back then that, hey, if you get that guy to hit a stone for 30 years of his life, you can carve rocks. Like that was the technologies they shared. Hey, bang bang.
Solomon?
Bang bang.
Solomon should have thought of it because he's the wisest person to ever live of all time.
Up to that point.
No. And ever. It says after he dies, there's no one smarter than him too. You have to remember that this is the smartest person.
Do you know what though?
Ever.
Intelligence, what you can accomplish with intelligence is relevant to the knowledge you have as a society.
And
Like Einstein, smartest person of the last 200 years at least,
sure,
except for maybe Newton was pretty smart apparently. How long ago is that?
who cares?
Doesn't matter. Probably longer. But it's not like he could build an iPhone is my point. He doesn't have any concept of any of that.
I mean,
So what you can accomplish with your intelligence is based upon this knowledge society has.
sure, but you think he would have had some more demonstrable evidence, like he would have, you know, the Solomon proofs.
He would have some kind of, he would have progressed humanity in some form. That's a good point. Right. Einstein didn't have an iPhone, but he did create the theory of relativity. Solomon just said, I'm smart. He Donald Trumped
He cut a
the
baby
world
in
back
half.
then.
He did.
Yeah.
15.
He cut a baby in half. That's pretty clever. The fact that still is a thing that people reference today.
That doesn't make
dope.
They still reference, like, you know, Noah's Ark and stuff. It's not a good
No, I mean,
story.
reference it adjacent, not adjacent, without the Bible.
Okay.
Like, I've heard that completely.
Cut it in half.
Yeah.
Dude, the thing is, they probably stole that from some Persian proverb.
Obviously.
right?
For sure they did. Yeah.
Okay, so where
Or
were
he
we?
created it because he's the smartest man
So
that ever existed.
King Solomon conscripted laborers.
Here's the thing. You can't prove it wrong.
They conscripted the laborers. They worked in shifts so that they spent 1 month in Lebanon and 2 months at home. Adonrium was in charge of the forced labor. I like the way they say that. It's not like they don't say the slaves, just the forced labor.
I mean, that sounds almost worse, to be honest.
Solomon had 70,000 carriers and 80,000 stone cutters in the hills, as well as 3,300 foremen who supervised the project and directed the workmen. At the
Do you
king's
think
command,
do you think foremen are better than 2 men? Twice as good, I hear.
you're a tool. At the king's command, they
Go on.
they
Add that to the
removed
Bible.
from the quarry large blocks of quality stone to provide the foundation of dressed stone for the temple. The craftsmen of Solomon and Hiram and the men of Gebal cut and prepared the timber and stone for the building of the temple. Very exciting
So they
stuff.
built it out of stone. What the fuck was all that wood for?
Stone and timber, it
Oh,
says.
For the rafters. Can't build rafters with stone. Can't build
I don't
stone
know-
rafters.
I don't know
There's
what-
no stone I-beams.
What you should think of. I mean, definitely don't think of like Greek or Roman, like big
Well, they probably
columns.
had a pitched ceiling of some kind. Even if they had a flat ceiling, you can't do that with stone, really. I mean, you can.
What was the architecture
I guess
like?
you
It was
definitely
kind
can.
of like mostly cut into like already existing mountains, and there was a lot of domes and arcs. That was kind of what the
Yeah, you can
architecture
do a
looked like
stone dome.
in Israel.
It's ironic that we're reading about a lot of stone today, eh? This is a stone-heavy episode.
Just making those connections. Solomon builds the
You can
temple.
say we've been stoned.
Stop it. Kyle, grow up. We're trying to get through the Bible here. This
Okay.
is very serious.
No, we're not getting through it. We're enjoying every second of it, of God's famous poetry.
I never smoked weed till way late. I never went to church high until like I was already like an adult, so it wasn't a big deal.
It would be so funny though.
Oh man,
How old were you when you first smoked weed?
18 or 19. But I smoked it once or twice, and then I didn't smoke it really again till I was like 22 or 23 because I was an athlete. But those days are long gone.
So you've gone to church stoned though?
Oh yeah, and it's just hilarious.
Yeah.
It is just the funniest thing in the world because the music is so bad, but it's like the time when people who don't do anything fun, that's like their cut loose
And
time.
they're so excited.
And they're so excited. And
Did they sing along? at
Oh
your
yeah,
church?
it's encouraged.
That's the one I was at too with my
And-
grandma. I'm like, this shit is horrible.
And so I get right into it. I'm like a fun church guy. I sing along.
Yeah.
You can either stand there and be miserable, or you can
You
get
gotta
into
sing
it.
along.
So you just sing into it. You sing badly and loudly as loud as you can, and you make eye contact with people, and you point around. And then like I like when they sing like "Awesome God's" one of my favorites. Our God is an awesome God. It's just like a slow build.
I like how that implies that there's other gods in that song.
Chris-
Our God, as opposed to their God,
Yeah, it sounds like a diss track.
is awesome.
it
to
is.
Muhammad.
It is. It
It
is.
sounds like
track.
my dad's stronger than your dad.
Uh,
It's fucking grade school
It
arguments.
is. It is a lot of that. They would say that there is no other gods, but you know, we're,
Well, then
we're
why
not.
would they
we're not going to get
wouldn't
on this fucking roundabout again, Kyle.
Well, they acknowledged it in their song. Don't put it in your folklore then.
It's not my folklore.
Your folklore. You went to the church, dude.
Solomon builds
It's
the
part of your
temple
history.
in the year 400. And
In 69.
what the hell? In the year 480th?
In the year 2000.
Why would you say it like that? In the year 480th year after?
In the 480th year after the Israelites.
Oh, that's how it says it.
This episode's gonna be called Lord of the Stoned Age.
In
Yeah,
the
that's not really efficient use of words, but I like where you're going with it.
in the 480th year after the Israelites
should
had
just
come
call
out
it
of
stoned.
Egypt. No, we shouldn't. Okay, you guys, no one will fucking notice if you don't say anything. It's
Totes.
fine.
Totes,
Dude,
dude.
as soon as I opened the door and I saw your fucking dumb face, like, I know.
In the 480th year after Israel had come out of Egypt, in the 4th year of Solomon's reign over Israel, in the month of Ziv, the 2nd month,
Ooh.
he began to build the temple of the Lord.
That's
Could you imagine if they still measured time?
that's the non-binary month.
What does that mean?
Ziv and Zer. Aren't those non-binary pronouns
Oh,
now?
they get their own months now?
Yeah, I don't know. It's biblical.
No, it isn't.
They just said.
The month of Ziv. Z-I-V.
That's a month of tucking your dick between your legs and going, "Would you
For a
fuck me? I'd fuck me."
For a whole month.
Yeah.
The temple that King
There's almost nothing funnier than doing that for some reason.
the temple that
I never had the balls,
Come on.
ironically, the balls
Stop
to
it.
do that in the locker room, but everyone that did, it was always a crack up.
The temple that King Solomon built for the Lord was 60 cubits long, 20 wide.
Cubits?
Yeah,
That's
cubits.
a real thing?
Yeah. A cubit is
What the hell did they use that
a cubit
in a
is
show I watched at some point?
I'm pretty sure a cubit is from your elbow to the tip of your middle finger.
Did they use that in like Rick and Morty for something?
They might have because
Cubits?
it's all about it's all over the Bible. 20 cubits long, 10 cubits. Where was it?
How many fragnogs?
Stop it. The,
Oh,
porti-
I need to know the exact measurement.
the portico at the main
2 fragnogs and a flim flam.
Stop it, Kyle. I'm trying to seriously read.
What, this is a
Your salvation depends on this.
This is a stoner podcast now. We just say silly words.
These are the Bible words. God wants you to hear these words.
Okay.
The portico at the front of the main hall of the temple extended the width of the temple.
Is the portico where everyone shits?
I don't know what a portico is, but yeah, we'll say
Sounds like it.
We'll say it's yeah. So right when you walk in, there's shitters for 20 cubits down the hallway. So you're just as you walk into the temple of the Lord, you're just greeted with shit and piss.
That's got to be awesome. Because people are like digging holes. If I walked into a temple with indoor shitters, I would think there's a God.
You get like you're shitting and praying done at the same time. Instead of kneeling, you just take a nice little squat.
Yeah.
And then you just like, dear God. Yeah, I feel like that's killing 2 birds at once, right?
You could probably just like have a Chinese style hole in the ground, kneel over it.
Yeah.
Now you're kneeling and shitting.
Oh God. Oh Lord.
That's what salvation feels like.
Okay. Where were we? The portico at the front,
Cubits.
20 cubits, blah, blah, blah. He made narrow clustery. What the fuck word is that?
I don't know where you're reading that.
Verse 4. Do you see that word?
Nope.
He made narrow window. Okay.
Read what you said. I like our old-timey Bible.
Clustery.
Yeah, clustery. Yeah, that's a word.
Means window, I guess. No, he made narrow clustery windows in the temple. I don't know what that means.
It's a fancy window. I think it's one of those colored windows.
No, stained glass windows? No way.
No, I said colored.
No, they wouldn't have those.
Work in the field.
That's part of the.
You go on. Back to the Bible.
Against the walls of the main hall and inner sanctuary, he built a structure around the building, in which there were side rooms. Is there anything less interesting than hearing a building fucking described?
Well, no. I like hearing about the shitters.
As you walk in, you'll see a staircase.
You'll see shitters on your left. Shitters on your right.
It's just like...
Here's...
I wonder if anybody... Try and picture this building in your mind's eye.
My temple has 20 bedrooms. I can make a bedroom.
Stop it.
Any room. I decide what room's a bedroom.
Stop it, Kyle.
Mm-hmm. This bedroom has a stove.
Stop it.
This bedroom has a praying throne.
Against the walls of the main hall of the inner sanctuary, he built a structure around the building in which there were side rooms. The lowest floor was 5 cubits wide, the middle floor 6 cubits, and the third floor 7.
Ooh, that's a nice room.
He made offset ledges around the outside of the temple so that nothing would be inserted into the temple walls. In the building,
the ledges. What does that mean? You can't put anything on the. You got a slant.
I'm just gonna move on.
You can't balance a picture on there.
Sure.
Because Jesus hates that. God hates that.
In building the temple, only blocks dressed at the quarry were used, and no hammer, chisel, or any iron tool was heard at the temple site while it was being built. What the actual fuck does that mean?
I think they carved the stone, not in the temple.
And okay. They didn't use a hammer, chisel, or iron tool was heard at the site while it was being built. Dude, that means in fucking Solomon times, they went Amish style and they said, we're building this old school. No iron tools. We're doing it the way God would have wanted it.
Not at the site. They did it before. No?
Yeah,
they
said
bid the blocks
dressed them at the
before,
quarry, yeah.
and then they brought them there. They didn't
Sure,
even them out.
but even at the temple site, you'd think there'd be a hammer, a chisel, an iron tool at the fucking place.
Yeah, there should be. I would have at least 2.
Dude, they went like, we're building this old school. We're not using any of
I'd
that.
have 2 hammers.
That blows my mind that back then they would say we're not using this fancy technology because God wouldn't want it that way.
Yeah. What do you think he thinks about cranes?
That's like Amish looking at other Amish and being like, that's too much technology.
You know what the funny thing about the Amish is? They're changing what their definition of technology based on the times.
So now
They're allowing more and more stuff.
So they just have to stay roughly 50 years behind. or
Yeah, I
something?
think so. There's that's the cap.
In 2050, they'll all have iPhones. Be like, just
They have 1 computer per site now, apparently.
I guess you need one to survive in the
Well,
world.
they sell shit. They have websites. It's hilarious.
Where were we? Verse 7, verse 8.
Verse 9, verse 10.
Verse 8. The entrance to the lowest floor was on the south side of the temple. A stairway led up to the middle level, and from there to the third. So he built the temple and completed it, roofing it with beams and cedar planks. And he built the side rooms all along the temple. The height of each was 5 cubits, and they were attached to the temple by beams of cedar.
Mm-hmm.
The word of the Lord came to Solomon.
Sounds correct.
As for the temple you are building, if you follow my decrees, carry out my regulations, and keep my commands and obey them, I will fulfill through you the promise I gave to David your father, and I will live among the Israelites and not abandon my people Israel.
Well, he was gonna trade up to different peoples.
I don't know.
Maybe he was gonna go Asian this time.
I
what
mean,
happens.
when Christians read this, they go, "Isn't God great? He's keeping his promise." When I read it, I go, "Doesn't it sound like God's kind of reneging on his promise and saying, like, you have to do this in order for me to be with you?"
Yes.
But they just see it as just another doubling down of the same promise.
It also doesn't matter though.
It kind
If there is a God, you kind of have to listen to him either way.
yeah.
He can renege all he wants.
But they say that he doesn't, which is annoying.
Well, you have to say that, or else he punishes you.
That's true.
Yeah.
But can we all just like
Agree that God's a dum-dum?
yeah, and say that?
A stupid man?
A stupid man. Solomon built.
Talking in Blue's Clues or whatever the hell you said.
The word of the Lord came to Solomon. As for this, I just said that. So Solomon built the temple and completed it. He lined its interior walls with cedar boards, paneling them from the floor of the temple to the ceiling,
This is how I'm going to build my house.
and covered.
With slaves.
I don't think you could from this description. I think
I've come pretty close.
in your mind's eye build what I'm describing.
I am.
So Solomon built its temple. He lined its interior walls with cedar boards, paneling them from the floor of the
I'm
temple
pretty sure this is what Donald Trump's penthouse looks like.
to the ceiling, and covered the floor of the temple with planks of pine. He partitioned off 20 cubits at the rear of the temple with cedar boards from the floor to the ceiling to form within the
I would do that
temple
too.
an inner sanctuary,
That's just good engineering.
the most holy place. The main hall in front of this room was 40 cubits long. The inside of the temple was cedar, carved with gourds.
Gourds?
Yeah, gourds.
Like the vegetable?
Yeah, and open flowers. Everything was cedar. No stone was to be seen.
Carved with gourds or to look like gourds?
The inside was carved with gourds and open flowers. So
It's gotta be hard to carve with a vegetable.
to look like, I would assume. He prepared the inner sanctuary within the temple to set the Ark of the Covenant of the Lord there. The inner sanctuary was 20
Lord
cubits
over there.
long, 20
The Lord-
wide, and
the Lord
20
there.
high. He overlaid the inside
That's the most
with
Canadian thing I've ever heard.
with
The
pure.
Lord over there.
Stop it.
And then he
over-
just fucking sent it, bro.
He overlaid the inside with pure gold. And he also overlaid the altar of cedar. Solomon covered the inside of the temple with pure gold, and he extended gold chains across the front of the inner sanctuary,
And then he
which
got his
was
ski-doo.
overlaid with gold. So he overlaid the whole interior with gold.
This sounds exactly like Donald Trump's apartment. I nailed it. That's Donald Trump's penthouse. This might be the exact dimensions.
He also overlaid.
You know what? God sounds kind of like a prick.
Yeah.
Just saying.
He also overlaid with gold the altar that belonged to the inner sanctuary. I really like that argument that God.
Donald Trump is God.
Yeah, because he's such an asshole.
It's pretty similar. They live in the same house.
Yeah, and I think even like Trump supporters and Trump would like it. He's like, yeah, I am an asshole and I am the best. I fully like endorse that.
And he loves Israel
Does
openly. Yeah.
Big fan. All right.
I love the Jews. They got big noses. I'm a big fan. They got all the money. I love the Jews.
In the inner sanctuary, that sounds so creepy. In the inner sanctuary, he made a pair of
Best I
cherubim
could do, Caleb.
of olive wood, each 10 cubits high.
Olive wood or oil?
One wing
Do you
of
think
the
they
first cherub.
Do you think they make oil out of the wood?
No, I don't.
No, then why do they call it that?
They make it out of the pit, out of the fruit. Out
Of the
seeds.
olive wood.
Yeah, out of the olives.
Oh, okay.
Themselves, not the
And
wood.
then they cut down the wood and do other stuff with it.
One wing
One wood to woo them all. One wood to find them.
to woo them all.
One wood to wing them all.
Are you stoned too?
Nah, just fucking with you.
Oh man.
We're having a good time.
Verse 23. In the inner sanctuary, he made a pair of cherubim of olive wood.
I did get a little drunk though.
Each 10 cubits high. One wing of the first cherub was 5
One
cubits
wing to
long.
woo them all.
Stop it. Grow up, Kyle. We're trying to get through this boring shit.
I really want to name the podcast that.
One wing.
To woo them all.
It's not even funny.
Oh, it is to me. Who decides what's funny?
God, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. Donald Trump. Donald Trump.
One wing of the
I
first
love
cherub.
that joke.
Stop it. One wing of the first cherub was 5 cubits long.
One of my favorite all-time jokes.
And the other wing was 5 cubits. 10 cubits from wing to wing, from wing tip to wing tip. The second cherub was also measured 10 cubits, for the 2 cherubim were identical in size and shape. The height of each cherub was 10 cubits. He placed the cherubim inside the innermost room of the temple, with wings spread out. The wing of one cherub... Stop it, Kyle. I'm trying to get through this. He placed the cherubim inside the innermost room
Did he
of the
place
temple
it?
with their wings spread out. The wing of one cherub touched the one wall, while the wing of the other touched the other wall, and their wings touched each other in the middle of the room. He overlaid the cherubim with gold. On the walls around the temple, both the inner and the outer rooms, he carved cherubim, palm trees, and open flowers. He also covered the floors of both the inner and outer rooms of the temple with gold.
It sounds like the all-time best temple ever built.
For the entrance of the inner sanctuary, he made doors of olive wood with 5-sided jambs.
Door rocks, dude.
What is a 5-sided jam?
Door jams? It doesn't matter.
How do
Go
you
on.
have a 5-sided door jam?
You have a 5-sided door. Your door looks like an...
What is a
your door-
jam? J-A-M-B. I don't know. Look that up.
Maybe
somebody.
the door has 5 sides like a pentagon. Maybe the door's peaked.
A peaked door?
Yeah.
That's
Instead of
retarded.
rounded, it's got a point 5 sides. That's a 5-side jam.
It's not like a Dungeons and Dragons dice. And the 2 olive wood doors, yeah.
There's way more sides
What,
than that.
what does it say?
Oh, a jamb is like the frame of the door.
So
Yes,
5
but how does it have?
This is a
But how does it have
here.
5 sides?
Yeah, like
Are you crying?
I mean, yeah, a little bit.
Your mascara's running.
I mean, it's so I laughed so hard that I was crying and then I couldn't read. And the 2 olive wood doors he carved cherubim palm trees and open flowers and overlaid the cherubim and palm trees with beaten gold. And in the same way, he made 4-sided jambs of olive wood for the entrance of the main hall. He also made 2 pine doors, each having 2 leaves that turned in sockets. He carved cherubim, palm trees, and open flowers on them, and overlaid them with gold and hammered evenly over the carvings. And he built a courtyard of 3 courses of dressed stone and 1 course of trimmed cedar beams. The foundation of the temple of the Lord was laid in the 4th year in the month of Ziv, in the 11th year the month of Bul.
Hell
In
yeah.
the 8th month the temple was finished in all its details according to its specifications. He had spent 7 years building it.
God damn.
Wasn't that exciting? Did you learn?
Yes.
Did you learn anything today, Kyle?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That Donald Trump might be Jesus Christ.
No, he couldn't be Jesus Christ. He's
Why
more
not?
like God of the Old Testament. Because Jesus
But
Christ
aren't they
isn't
the same thing?
Jesus Christ is a poor person, and he was all no. They're actually not the same thing. I mean, they're all God, but they're different entities completely.
Oh,
and,
okay.
and the Old Testament God has a different personality than Jesus Christ.
Gotcha.
Jesus Christ is the forgiving, nice guy, poor person, turn the other
Donald
cheek.
Trump pulled out of all the wars. That fucking Biden's gonna go right back into politics.
Dude, we live in Canada. Let's just stay in our lane here. Let's talk about
Dude,
Trudeau.
yeah, I hate him.
Yeah.
I hate that dude.
Okay.
But I would fuck him.
Okay. Tell me more about that.
That's it.
That's that's it.
That's it, dude.
Cal loves drama.
He loves drama.
Teachers.
Well,
I get it.
Do we get-
Substitute drama teachers.
do we get any emails this week, Kyle?
Sure did, buddy. Entitled Psychedelics Bible.
Perfect. It's prophetic, man. It's destiny. God lined it up like this.
Dear Lord of Hosts and Lord of Gayness, I am a psychonaut and heavy recreational drug user and love good stories and theories. Being brought up in a Baptist household, I had heard many of these stories as a chitlin and still find some interest in them today, as absurd as they all are. I would love to hear your take on something I've read about, and that is possibly that when Moses went to the top of the mountain and saw the burning acacia bush, that he possibly had his type of godlike experience because of acacia neurophilia is a DMT containing plant. And y'all need to smoke some deems. What does that mean?
I think smoke some DMTs.
Oh, yeah. It really makes you question the nature of the universe we perceive. P.S. Do another podcast just talking about your weekly BS. Your drunk stories are always great, and a lot of the time make me feel better about myself and my drunken retardness. Peace.
Retardness.
Retardness, dude. Retardedness.
I think that's how it's said. Well, thanks for that's a good, interesting question. Now I've heard that theory before that Moses was on smoke, like the burning bush was some sort of.
I hate all those theories. But yes,
Psychedelics?
I've heard it too.
It's so bullshit. I actually did DMT.
Oh yeah, tell us about
Didn't
that.
solve anything. It's awesome.
Didn't solve anything. How long? What did it feel like? Describe it if you
Feels like
can.
you're going through a wormhole.
Okay, like
Yeah.
it actually feels like that.
It like visually, that's what's happening.
Yeah.
You just close your eyes, and it's just like the spinning. Like you don't know
How long
where-
were you high for?
It's really short. Like it's only probably like 2 minutes.
How long did you feel like you were high for?
Not much more than 2 minutes.
So it felt rough.
You're not really like out of your fucking.
So you're not
mind.
disassociated.
No, it's weird. And then you.
I thought it was in complete disassociation. I thought that was the whole point.
Yeah, no, and then you snap right out of it, and then like 5 minutes after, like you're
You see a dude putting on his clothes again. You're like, what the fuck?
Well,
like, what am I sober?
but to his question, it doesn't say what type of bush, so it could be any bush. It seems more likely than not. If we're gonna go by the Bible story, God could just be in any bush. But yeah, I do think that psychedelics could explain a lot of the shaman or religious practices from ancient times, for sure.
But they also weren't that good at synthesizing it back then.
What do you mean?
Like I think the what's the one they figured out in the jungle?
Like the
Ayahuasca.
which is DMT.
Yeah.
But it's a way of
Yes.
synthesizing DMT to be absorbed into your body. You can't just take the plant that has DMT in it.
Well,
Or else you get
marijuana-
it's like eating weed without cooking it in fat first, right?
Marijuana grew close, grows close enough to Israel. It might even grow native around there, so they could have been stoned. It's possible.
Yeah, but like I said again though, that would have been like barely any THC in it,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
But
that's
that's
true.
enough to fucking make you think that God is real.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, good point.
I also like the explanation that they were insane people.
Well, honestly, the easiest explanation, path of least resistance, is they lied, and it sounded cool.
Do you know what I think? I think that this is what I think, and it's gonna take me a long time
Yeah?
to say this. I know because
All right.
I start down a road.
So
and then I
Caleb
go,
thinks. So Dan Carlin said once.
no. This is my own theory. This isn't.
Your own thoughts,
Yeah, this is like
just based on your own life.
my own life. I might even quote myself from earlier and before. Okay, this is what I
And
think.
not past later.
No. Okay, so I think that these spiritual these like wise men or like, I don't know, like tribe leaders, shaman, whatever you want to say. I think that they were just generally smart dudes, like intuitive dudes. You know how you just know stuff, but you don't know how you know. You just have a feeling. You know, because you've been around and you're like, this is. I get a feeling this is what this guy's like, or I get a feeling.
Called wisdom now.
Yeah, it's called wisdom. That's what I think that these people had, and because they were right more often than not, people would go. They might be like they have some like special power even, and they would be maybe even believe about themselves that they had some special power from God, and then they'd be like, you know what? I saw a bush that was burning, and it could have just been a bush that got struck by lightning, or it could have been fucking God actually burning in a bush, or it could have been a fucking bush made up of psychedelic DMT shit, and he got stood in the smoke of that and saw his fucking life change and wrote down this book, and now we're all here reading it, killing each other 3,000 years after the fact.
Pretty dope. You can also do that and write Voodoo Child.
Yeah, like some music.
Jimi Hendrix.
David might have wrote some like weird licks on the guitar when he was
they're
high.
in the.
The Bible does
on the
say.
Lute, dude. Do you think he shredded the lute?
The Bible does say so. Stoners. I don't think they had the lute then.
What?
Lute.
They didn't have stringed instruments.
Well, he had a harp, so that's a stringed instrument.
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
But
It's like a Victorian sort
Yeah.
of thing.
what was I talking about though? About
You can shred on a harp. I've seen it.
so stoners say about the Bible that you're allowed to smoke weed because God said all the plants I give you and all their fruits, so like mushrooms and weed and cannabis and all that should be allowed. And I agree to that.
What about heroin?
I also agree. Opium. I agree with acid. I agree with mushrooms. I agree with meth. I agree with every single opiate. I agree.
Do you think weed is the magical healing plant
No.
they speak of in the Bible? Yeah.
No, I don't think it is. But
It's obviously not.
the Bible does say don't get fucked up. It says don't get too drunk. But it doesn't ever say don't get too high. So you can do as many drugs as you want.
I like how it's just a semantic.
Yeah,
It's
really.
like an entirely semantic
It is.
argument.
It is.
When they definitely implied don't fog your brain
That's
up
definitely
in any way.
Kyle's totally right. It says don't get too fucked up.
Yeah.
Enjoy it a little bit, but don't
Sure.
be a drunkard.
Yeah, just put the tip in.
Doesn't really work like that for drugs. You can't just put the tip in.
Sure you can. You can take a hit of weed, or you can take a whole dropper of THC oil.
Dude,
Take-
that's like fucking a chicken pumping her once.
All right. That's the podcast, I believe.
I'm one half of a fat couple. All we do is eat in bed and fight for who's ever on the bottom.
Ha ha, she fucking hates you.
Play the song.
I'll be your savior in the streets. We'll break under